Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MASL in the Box Live with your hosts, Adam, Matt, and Gio.
Everybody get...
Ta-da, we're live.
We're live.
Hello, everybody. Most of us are live.
Matt's joining. We're almost live. Those are cool banners you have there.
Isn't that awesome?
Outlines.
You guys can't see them, though. So,
I can see them.
Welcome to In the Box Live Monday night. How do things look? Leave me a comment in the chat and let me know what things look like.
Yeah, it looks really good. Oh, look at there's our name.
Oh, I do see the cute little outlines. That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Those are cool.
Yeah,
So now that Matt left, does his box go away?
No, he's here. Matt, say something. Matt's frozen. So I have a fix for that. I can always do this. And Matt will be replaced.
Do we have a little corn dog? Oh.
That's fantastic.
That's
So-
hilarious.
If Matt's not there, we'll just replace him with that.
That's hilarious.
But I think he's here, or he's not here.
What you need to do is put a pillow behind that, and it's Matt.
That's true, a unicorn pillow.
Oh my god.
So hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
It's not working for Matt. Well, we spent almost 15 minutes testing this out during the week, and we never tested it out with all four of us. So this is about what we got.
That's where we failed.
That's where we failed. We're gigantic failures.
Whoa, whoa! Let's not be aggressive.
Let's speak for Lucy.
Whoa. No. No.
Wait a minute. I haven't drinking. I've never been.
Whoa! It was just 1 month.
How many Stellas did you have on the way to the show?
I didn't. I had Deer Park.
I'm drinking straight out of the tap again.
I'm drinking a cherry limeade sparkling water. It's a good drink.
I have a Powerade, but it's across the room.
Do you want us to wait and maybe go get it?
No.
Everyone
If you
stop.
see me get up at some point, it's because I'm going for my Powerade.
Nice. All right.
Really
So
nice.
we had only one game over the weekend. Soccer showed up as soon as it was 3-0 in Dallas' favor, and then just annihilated Dallas, and Dallas went home when they were up 3-0.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
So I feel like I'm cursed when it comes to Dallas because I wasn't watching the game when they were winning 3-0.
Then you turned it on, didn't you?
And I turned it on.
So
And within the minute of me turning it on, San Diego scored, and then they scored again.
So here's the secret to Dallas. They've only won one game, so you've been wrong 9 times. But I think the time that they won, you didn't pick them.
That's what I'm saying.
So
They're cursed because of me.
I think you just need to stop picking them.
I completely understand that. I don't feel that way for any other sport but baseball. I'm a Cubs fan, and if they're up, I refuse to turn the game on because it seems almost like clockwork where if I turn a game on, if they're winning, they immediately start giving up runs. So
Also,
if I don't start watching it from the beginning, I refuse to watch a Cubs game late into the game.
we're going to need to give – he's going to want a shout-out because he went 6-1
That's
two
right.
weekends
2
ago.
weekends ago.
Nice.
On the weekend, and I went 5-2.
Nice. I think that's better than the picker wheel did. Although the picker wheel chose
That's
corn
better
dog
than what
like
Gio did.
Well, that's because
So
Gio keeps picking
overall,
Dallas.
from the last 2 weekends, I was 7-1.
Nice.
My only loss was
That one game.
the one soccer's Tacoma game, I think, right?
Yep.
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 So, Matt, Matt says Cliff needs to be removed from the show. He's a Sox fan.
I'm a Cubs fan.
So I guess you get to stay.
Thank you.
I guess whoever can figure out how to join the call can stay.
Yeah, that makes me and Lucy in.
Are you on a computer then?
Yeah.
And you just clicked the link and typed in the password and it worked?
I didn't even bother with the link. I typed it in. I manually typed it in.
Wait, you typed in that?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason behind that.
My hat's off to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Last time we tried joining it, took a long time. So, and we're not in our usual location either.
I see.
Yeah.
We moved.
I
Thanks
see.
for joining.
Mostly because we have a couch out here and it's way comfortable.
Way more comfy.
I need a right there. I need a recliner
Yes.
because I'm in this chair. For work, it's anywhere from 7:30 to 8:30 until anywhere from 5 to 7, and then I'm down here doing music stuff and computer stuff all night. I need something better to just when I have one of those meetings that I don't really have to pay attention to, but I need to still listen. I need to just be crashed out in a nice chair. And this is a comfortable chair. This is a Herman Miller Aeron. So it's a comfortable chair, but it's not a recliner.
My chair's nice.
It looks nice.
I bought this crazy headset and it's one of these mesh things and
Ooh.
fancy. I bought it refurbished though. Because they're $1,500 new, and I got it for $400 something, which is still ridiculous for a chair that doesn't have a footrest and plushy arms and stuff.
Does it run on gas?
No, but I got those rollerblade wheels on it, and I couldn't sit still because it kept just drifting.
Oh yeah.
All right, we gotta get rid of those. So we got playoffs this week.
So in San Diego, for those who didn't watch the game, San Diego beat Dallas 9-4.
9-4.
After Dallas was winning most of the first half, and they were tied at half, and then
Gio turned the game on and
ruined it.
Chris said before he was ready to turn off the game when they were losing 3-0. It looked like Dallas was just gonna do what the Sockers usually do to people. And then all of a sudden the Sockers score, and it's okay, well, so they can figure it out. They know the ball needs to go in that little box thing. Get it in the box.
I got that right away.
But and then they just started, and then they just went, and then Childs. We've said some things about Childs on this show.
Hold on.
And
Hold the horses. Let's not praise that much. He's a great finisher. But he didn't have to do much work.
That's how I feel about
he literally all he had to do was put the ball in the back of the net. It were 2 easy tap-ins.
But he had the free kick that was good. He had another free kick that almost
that I'm not taking away from him. It's just the 2 easy tap-ins that he just Dallas didn't clear the ball and it found Childs' foot. And guess what? Childs is going to put it away. He's going to punish you for those mistakes.
But that's part of the game. He has 500 some of those or 400 some of those in his career. It's not like he was lucky every single one of those goals.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying everyone's going to be saying, "Oh, Childs is back." Childs is not Childs. He's aging. Let's not jump on the bandwagon. That's what I'm trying to say. It's all right,
on that, but he does have fresh legs, having not played much of the season.
And I think they did that intentionally.
I agree. And I actually have a theory about the playoffs that I'm going to share with you guys in terms of that right there.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to talk about each team or do we want to talk about the matchups?
Well,
what about when we talk about the matchups, we could say something about each team?
Sure.
How about we talk about the team, we can talk about the matchups.
I broke the 7 teams into 3 categories.
Oh.
It's Ontario and Florida.
Show us, Sensei.
The middle 4, and then Dallas.
The middle 4.
And so, but here's my point. I think of the middle 4, any one of them could pull an upset of the top 2 and find themselves with the cup. with an asterisk next to it. So
I gotta go on a rant about that, by the way.
I'm very intrigued by the middle four.
So are the middle four Comets, Ambush, Soccers, and Stars?
Correct.
Yeah.
Those are the middle four. And that's just kind of how I broke it down in my head when I looked at specifically the 7 teams heading into the playoffs. I grouped them in those 3 categories: top 2, the bottom 7, which would be Dallas, and then the middle 4. And I think those middle 4 is gonna. I think that obviously it's where I'm most intrigued.
Yeah.
We actually were talking to Guillermo the other day,
Yeah.
kind of. Guillermo yesterday when I was at soccer, and he was talking about how he had Everton over like the day before or whatever, and how he kind of raised an eye at the Comets and Ambush being together. Like, I think those two, that matchup, I'm definitely really intrigued by, because St. Louis has been like up and down. They either have a game or they don't. But Kansas City has been pretty hot. Like, I don't know, with their goal scorers that they have on that team, they're both teams are loaded with talent, I think. So
Once they figured out how to not give up a 3-goal lead in the second half, then it just took off.
And you know what, Adam, you and I have had this conversation before. I guess we've already started our conversation now with these 2 teams. But, when St. Louis can string together multiple periods, they're extremely dangerous.
Yep.
And so when we look at that matchup in particular, like I said, I think it's just the Midwesterner in me who makes that matchup so intriguing. But clearly that's my favorite one of the up and coming weekend. And I really do, if Bud was really, if that story is legit, which I don't see any reason why he would make something like that up, the way they came to pick their opponent was epic. I mean, that was just an incredible story.
He showed I don't know where if he sent it to just us or if he posted it publicly, but he showed the actual votes.
Did he?
On turf.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
What's interesting to me is that they didn't choose. So a couple of things, and I know he told me that the way that Lane Smith runs his 2 teams is that they're completely independent of each other. They can make their own decisions. That I thought it would be weird that the 2 of them would play each other. Like the owner would have his 2 teams play each other, if at all possible.
Right.
So I thought the decision was going to be between San Diego and St. Louis. And I thought it was really interesting that according to that story, which I have no reason not to believe, nobody picked San Diego.
Right, which is weird.
Which is weird to me. It's like, well, does that mean that they think San Diego is as good as we've seen them? Or I mean, because there's no arena advantage because they would both be playing in Ontario, and the timing would be the same because they would both be playing in Ontario for that game. It was weird. Oh, we have someone trying to join.
I just feel San Diego's a sleeping giant. And granted, they only have 2 games to prove that, but if they do, and they get on a roll, that's where I mean about those middle 4. Any one of them can get hot and win this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. I don't know if we want to start talking about the games or not, but going back to the San Diego thing and the Comets not picking them, it doesn't make sense to me that they didn't even consider the Soccers, because look at how hard of a time they had with Dallas.
Yeah.
And I get that San Diego has been a great team and so on and so on, but San Diego's not playing too well. If I'm the Fury or if I'm Florida, I would not even hesitate on picking them regardless of their past, because if you put them on the back foot, they won't be able to become the giant that they are.
The question I had, and I think I asked this one of our chats over the weekend, was if KC plays the same way that they've played against, like Dallas, against San Diego, what would happen? Would they run up the score like they did against Dallas, or would San Diego find a way to stop them?
So the thing with San Diego is they have to sacrifice their defense to become an offensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hold their defense to. I mean, Cerda is scoring. He is one of the backbones of the defense.
Yeah.
So they have to get out of that stance to push forward. If not, we're looking at a 3-goal max for San Diego,
which has been their norm throughout the 10-game season.
Right.
And
so I don't see that changing.
Goals.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't see that changing for any team, and that means they just have to be that good. I mean, are they really that good of a defense if they're losing?
And I mean, I guess the kind of question I was aiming at was, do they have that good of a defense because people are playing, how do you put it? They're playing hesitant against them because they know what they're capable of. Like Kansas City, they're a very, very young team, and they're right on the borderline of being totally reckless, which is amazing for this sport. It's like the best ever thing to watch. So if you get a team that's like that, I mean, one of the announcers, I think it was actually Brian Ackley in Florida, made the thing about when a team gets up, they play this game where they basically score 2 goals and give up 1. And that's how they keep their lead going. I could see KC giving up 2 for every 5 they score, or some kind of combination of that. I mean, Chris just said with all things being equal, we may never know, which is true. But I'm wondering if they, to bring up a NFL reference, since you're a new Packer fan, I hear, Cliff. When that 1 year when the Packers had no defense and a lot of offense, they would score 45 points a game, but they would give up 30. But the game would be over in the first quarter and a half, and then they would just play like prevent the whole time. Is Kansas City capable of doing that?
If you want to look at that, that's kind of like St. Louis's motto, right? They up the score, but they can't keep scores out. So it's like, I mean, San Diego and St. Louis are literally opposite of each other. St. Louis is all attack when they can figure out how to shoot.
Right.
And San Diego's all defense.
Maybe the ball's too slippery.
Oh my God. I knew this was coming.
So
I find that so hard to believe that came from the San Diego trainer.
So we need to connect with some people, and I forgot to do it. The two who I'm talking about know who I'm talking about, or maybe watching this, but apparently there's a lot more to that. Like you could hear the trainer yelling, "Somebody needs to rub these balls before they." It's just like complete ridiculous. Like because there are not a lot of people in that stadium at all, or the arena, and the sound is going to echo a lot more. But I want to hear more. So, Sockers fans, sorry that Brian Farber didn't. We actually were the ones that pushed Brian Farber off till next week because we wanted to kind of do a shorter show this week. Matt wasn't really feeling well and is having technical issues with our new platform here. And I know you guys only wanted to stay a half an hour, which we're coming up on quick, so we need to get through this.
It's fine. We just have a long week ahead of us. Lucy started soccer, and we've got parent-teacher conferences all week. And so tonight was my earliest night. I got out of there at 5:30, and that's the earliest I'm going to be getting out of work. So I'm putting in 12-hour days every day this week.
Chris, this is there's no name on this jersey. I got it the first year they had these, and I didn't know who I wanted. I don't like San Diego that much that I wanted a name on it, and I just kidding.
I want a San Diego shirt, but I don't know if that would discredit me as a Blast fan.
You wear enough shirt. How do I even answer that? Come on.
That's fascinating that you even make that comment because, going into this season, I had this significant dislike of, a lot of the Wave rivals, Blast, Ambush, Comets, to name 3. But at the same time, I always had, we've had this discussion before. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but always had this love for William and You know, watching Hoxie play and some of those guys out there and watching Vinny. You just kind of love the individuals. And so, and now with this year with the Wave being dormant and watching these other teams, you know, I find this odd connection to two teams I hated before, the Comets and the Ambush. You know, it's so weird. I don't know what 2021 is going to look like when I sit down in my seats for the first time.
And we're playing the St. Louis Ambush.
We're playing one, like Lucy mentioned the other day, like a team that she can list the roster up and down, and she cheers for every week. So it's so weird.
One of these games, one of the St. Louis games, I literally was like, Dad, I bet you I could name every single player on this roster. And he like listed off the numbers, and I literally could name every single St. Louis player on the roster. I could never have been able to do that like last year. Like I could name you like Tony Walls was on the St. Louis Ambush, but
Yeah,
that's about it.
So. I'm pretty sure when the Waves come back, it's like that. It's like that whole mentality that off the field we're friends, but on the field it's a different thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's how
I play. Well, when I had two good knees, I played against a lot of my friends, and like we would rough each other up all the time, and it didn't matter. And then afterwards, we would go get a beer together.
Right.
That's so cool. Lucy's entering that stage right now because she's starting her first year of high school soccer, so she's going to be playing against all the girls she played club with now.
Yeah.
So her teammates have now become the enemy. So that's pretty. It's going to be unique to see the girls that she used to play with on the opposite teams.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, Mandy ran into that because she was in SD Waukesha, and she went to Nathan Hale for her first 3.5 years, and when she was there, they're in the toughest conference in the state, and they're playing against all the Brookfield Centrals and the Pewaukee and the Menominee Falls and Germantown. And it's like, oh, I remember her. Oh, remember that one girl? Yeah, I remember. Oh, yep, we played against her. Yeah.
That's great.
So Kansas City, St. Louis.
Right.
Look, can we put a
pin? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, can we even pick that?
Yes.
I know we will.
No, I mean, I'm gonna pick because I think it's
you must
my responsibility as a guest to do so.
You must.
But,
one of us. One of
I absolutely love both these teams this year. I love watching them. You know my thoughts on Nick and Eric calling games. I would literally go down to a coin toss, but you know, I honestly think, you know, just what I've seen, what I like, my brain goes to Kansas City. My heart says St. Louis, and I'm following my heart.
Wow.
Wait, yeah. So wait. Cliff is over here jumping the gun. Wait. Slow down, my friend. Can we start with the first game? The Fury in San Diego?
No, we already started talking. We already started talking about KC and.
All right, now I got to rewire my brain. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Whole show.
There's no organization in this show. If you haven't figured that out by now, I don't know what to say.
Something I struggle with. It's okay.
Organization or
no acceptance.
Oh yeah, right.
All right.
So St. Louis comments. Okay. So I will say, I'm actually going with comments. I'm actually going to go with comments, and I think one, I would love to see them play at home. That's just one for the semifinals. No,
right.
Obviously. But I'm most excited to see if Max will come back, to see how that would affect the ambush. But the matchup I'm most excited to see is Silva and Tony Walls, if they ever cross paths.
Yeah. That's actually good. They've been playing De Silva up front though, so he usually lines up with is Tony Walls?
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So that would be exciting for me to watch if how they've been lining up happens, right? Especially if Max comes back, because if Max comes back, they're going to push Tony Walls back up.
Yep.
So it really depends on how the lineups are. But if they stay the way they are, I'm excited to see them play. And I'm also excited to see Ray Lee. Ray Lee, if he stays in the back.
He's been hot. He's been hot a few games.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been real hot.
See him take on Howard.
Right. That'll be exciting.
Howard
Especially because, it's the playoffs. They're just going to go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howard Jr. can flat out fly.
Yeah,
He's fun to watch too.
Yeah.
That's why I like that team. They're
There's
fun.
so many fun people to watch.
Yeah.
So
And you're
Lucie-
right. To your point, Gio, Ray Lee's been hot. Adam James been hot during the year. They've all had their little runs. Leo got hot there for a while. Kevin Ellis has contributed. Lewis has been. This team has been very streaky, but it seems as though they pick up their streaks when the others are down. So that's kind of interesting to me.
And not to forget the for me, this is the freshman all class.
You're
So
right.
I'm excited to see how they perform, specifically Marquez, right? He's
Oh God, he's a beast too.
so to see how he plays, how De Sousa plays, how Sosa plays, even though he's a little on the rough side for refs. Hopefully everything goes his way and he stays the whole game.
He hasn't gotten a yellow card in a while. I think he's settled in.
Well, like we said previously,
Yep,
Kansas City also, they have discipline issues. Like they've always had discipline issues. So if they let that, because you remember that one playoff game against the Wave. Wait, was that a playoff game or was it a regular game?
It just got out of control. And earlier this year, they had a game. Leo got rung from a game earlier this year too.
Right.
It was that first playoff game against Milwaukee, and I think there was 2 red cards, just cards going up. At one point, there was 3 Wave players in the box, 2 Wave players or 2 comments.
The Togba foot to Chino's head game.
Yeah, insane. So they really gotta either cut that out and focus on the game. But I would say for my pick, I'm gonna say Kansas City. I think. I think that's a smart choice to pick, but I do.
Not smart.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't think that was a wrong saying. Because I love St. Louis. St. Louis might be one of my favorite teams right now. I love St. Louis. So, and I would love. Well, no, I would love to see. I would love to see St. Louis definitely really put up a battle, even get close. But I think Kansas City has that topper where when they get on that run, they get their momentum. They really have it. They've scored really close together. Yeah.
So the other thing is, right, that perked my ears up and widened my eyes is St. Louis signed Matt Perella, right?
Mhm.
Why, right? So
Because they need a backup goalkeeper.
Right. I know. I literally know why, but I'm saying, are there intentions to play him? And if they do they sacrifice the home game or do they sacrifice the away game? Because Matt hasn't played a whole season.
If it's what I think it is, it's because they need someone on the roster, and Matt is still probably really fit, even though he hasn't been playing for a team. If they're following the same rules that they have been, they have to field or roster a backup keeper.
No, I understand, but as a professional player, well, one, to your point about Matt being fit, I don't question him being fit, but there's a difference between being fit and being game fit. I can tell you, I have players that are probably some of my most fittest players, but they're not ready for the speed of the game. They're not ready for whatever it is the case. And then the second point is, if I was Matt, I would be upset if I'm signing a contract not to play.
Yeah.
He posted in one of his posts that I think he understands what his role is.
Right.
Because he's playing backup. But I think a Matt Perella not in game week after week after week mode is still better than whatever third choice they had. Because they had Petrusek as their backup. and whoever their third goalkeeper was. They struggled in that last year. They went down to Mexico and had to sign whoever it was that got signed on a Friday, lost 2 games miserably, and then was released on the Monday.
I remember that.
It's a rough weekend for that guy, but yeah. I see why they do that. It makes sense to me. So I'm going to pick KC. Mijatovic is out for St. Louis for game 1 because of point accumulation, but I don't think that changes things. I think KC was going to win at home anyway, and I think there's a good chance that St. Louis wins that home game and it goes into a mini game.
I agree. I was going to say that same thing, that Kansas City wins, St. Louis wins, and then Kansas City will win in that mini game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know.
Like seriously, flip a coin. I think it's going to mean a lot more. So I'll go on a rant on this later, but St. Louis has been gaming the whole injury report system and not reporting things correctly or accurately or usefully. Max has never been on the injury report.
Is that a St. Louis or a league issue, Adam? I'm curious.
It's a league issue and enforcing it.
I think it's a league issue not enforcing it, but I think it's a team issue because there's teams that are doing it. When I say teams, I mean couple.
Yeah.
Sure. I get you. That was something I'm curious about. So
I think teams got this idea like, oh, if I don't report my injuries, I'll have an advantage. Like, no, that doesn't matter because they're planning to figure out how to play against each one of your players. So if one player isn't there, they already have a plan for who they're going to play.
Sure.
If this person's in. So I don't know why they just can't be transparent or just do what they're supposed to and upload the roster. That drives me insane, by the way.
Because they're making a game out of it. I mean, it is what it is. I guess the league is not enforcing it,
right?
So because they're not enforcing it, they know they can get away with doing whatever. But yeah, it's like I said, Max hasn't been on that report at all. There's what's that?
Drew Ruggles, no, he's been out for forever though.
He was on it once or twice towards the end there. I think it is a league issue because the league needs to reinforce and enforce that. And there needs to be fines. Like if you have a deadline to get your injury report in, if you don't get it in, or if you give us 4 names and then the day of the game there's 9 out for COVID, and that never shows up on the injury report website or anything, it makes it like either get rid of the injury report or use it. What they're doing now,
use it correctly.
Right.
That's
So I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Max is a big
question
mark and the key for St. Louis to win. And the same on KC is going to be Kevin Ellis. He's been out for a long time. He's been sitting on that sideline like eager to play for 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
He's jumping over the
board. But now, okay, say Kevin Ellis and Max. I think Max you kind of have to play, but Kevin Ellis, right? Would you give him extra time given how well KC has been playing? And just give him extra time to get ready for the next match because they've been doing fine without him.
It depends on where he is.
Next match if they lose 2.
You're right. Yeah.
Gross.
If he's at 80%, I would sit him. If he's at 90, I would play him.
I happen to agree with you there.
And who knows if he's been at 90 for 3 weeks now?
True.
And they're waiting for him to be 100.
True. Yep. This is true.
I just find it interesting because you go sport to sport, you hear. Like the National Football League, they have to be very extremely exact with their injury reports. And you look at like the National Hockey League, which they always shadow things by calling it an upper body or lower body injury, and that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
And so now my head's twirling right now with what you just said, Adam, about them playing the game. Because, we've known for years that NHL teams have played the game because they don't have to be as specific as the other 3 big sports in Major League Baseball, NBA, and the National Football League. So the NHL has always played that game, and now here we have a league who clearly is not enforcing their injury report. And so here we are. I mean, obviously, Gio brings up great points with, is Max going to be out there? Is Ellis going to be out there? The speculation is, now I know why it bothers you so much, Gio.
Yeah, because I mean, I wanna pick the right team. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you one bit. That's why I'm going with my heart, not my head here.
That's why I started doing. I won't do the picker wheel for the playoffs,
I can't go with my heart, man. It's got me to the terrible.
I've
your
gone
heart
with
is
my
also
head all year.
If I go with my heart on this, I don't know.
I think no matter what happens, it's going to be a really, really good series.
Now here's my question, right, for you guys that are pushing for this mini game. Would you say the mini game is going to affect them in their next match?
No,
No.
it's
Given
one
that
quarter.
they're going to have less rest time and more weight on their body.
Here's my thing. This league has been so close. Scoring's been down this year. There's been multiple one-goal games. There's been a handful of overtime games. I wouldn't be surprised if the first two games don't go to overtime too. So, Gio, to your point, I mean, this could be exhausting on them. And then I think that's where you have to really figure out the physical nature of the first two games, number one. Number two, how far they go, because I wouldn't surprise me one bit if they're not one-goal games and or overtime finals at some point. And so, you know, if we got two clean games and a mini game, then maybe not. If we got some physical nature play and then we get sprinkle an overtime in there and then you throw a mini game too, yeah, I think that could really probably decimate the winning team, to be honest with you. Put them on some really weak legs. Right. But having said that, you know, I'm not going to put the cart here before the horses, but I look at the same thing, and that's why my middle four thing. I can honestly see that other series doing that kind of battling back and forth, possibly one or both games going to overtime too. It's just the nature of how I feel the league is going this year.
Do you guys remember when Kevin Ellis got hurt? Do you remember who they were playing?
Mm-mm.
I don't remember Ellis' injury. No.
Was it after the Dallas second game? The reason I ask is because it seems like Dallas teams may – I got to confirm this by doing a little bit more research, but this is pure speculation. But I think to Eric's point when we spoke last week that Dallas is a very physical team, if I'm not mistaken, I think most teams have come away with an injury after playing them. Yeah.
Well, I will say this much. Kansas City started Lou Meisner twice against Dallas. So It's probably not for maybe a couple reasons. Number one, to give Neto that break. But number two, maybe there's a little bit more physical banging going on down there.
Right.
And
so
Meisner's all over the field. He's just makes your heart skip.
He's pulling a Josh Lemos and more there.
Because I think the last game Drew Ruggles played was against Dallas, right?
I don't know what's going on ago.
I think it was, yeah.
That's interesting.
So that makes me wonder how the Fury are going to come out of the game.
So So Sid has been leaving a lot of good comments here, and haven't really been talking about him at all. But he agrees with the injury report. He said Max has a lower body injury, but what is that? Right toe, left hip. I mean, you know.
So this is not confirmed or anything, but from what I heard, a rumor that it was an ACL injury.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what it was a rumor. I don't believe this person, but if that's true, that's rough.
Yeah. But yeah, Sid has put a number of things in, like 24 hours prior to each game, team should post final injury status.
Agreed.
I think the rule is during a normal week that they need to be in by Thursday at a certain time. So that would essentially be that 24 hours. With the way the playoffs are on like Wednesday nights and things, who knows? But like at least the day of the game, like St. Louis knew there were going to be 10 players out more than 24 hours before that game. And they've known the Max is going to be out for the last 3 games or whatever, more than 24 hours before each of those games. They're just flat out not doing it. They're like, screw it, we don't have to do this.
Right.
Yeah, especially when they're posting injury updates on the players we know aren't coming back.
Yeah.
Like
the Dukas of the world.
Right.
Yeah, they're very hush hush and quiet about anyone who's questionable and or doubtful or just flat out for that matter too.
Right. So Sid, you had Sid said don't allow game time player decisions. I don't know if I agree with that. I think if you use the categories correctly, you can have a like probable category.
I agree.
And then have that be a game time decision. But at least everyone knows, okay, he's not doubtful or questionable. I mean, doubtful, I would assume, means no. Questionable is going to be probably a day of the game time. And then that probable is probably a game time decision.
You get those doubtfuls who are in the training room that morning and they're feeling good, and suddenly they get upgraded to questionable and maybe get out there for warm-ups and see how they go. But that's so rare. The rarity of that is.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they dangle it out there, because you do have those guys who might be coming back from an injury, who might be sitting at
like warm up kind of.
Yeah, who might be sitting at that 80%, and then they get out there and warm up, and suddenly they got their legs under them again.
Well, I mean, we saw that with the Wave last season.
Yeah.
Who was that? Oh, it was Vega. He was out there taking shots during warm up, and then all of a sudden, Ali Berry's in street clothes during warm ups, and all of a sudden he's not in the the lineup, the starting thing, and all of a sudden he's playing. It's like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff happens.
I mean, was he on the game day roster? Presumably, yes. I mean, it would have to be, but still in street clothes during warm-ups.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. I know for a fact that Vega was warming up and Ali Berry was in street clothes.
Right.
And the two switch positions.
I definitely do remember that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All
right, next series.
Next series, Ontario, Dallas. This will be the easy one.
I don't see a Gio.
Sorry, Gio.
They haven't shown me anything yet this year, with the exception of the one win. Ontario's too good. I like Ontario in 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
my computer's dying.
Oh,
you know
bye,
what you
Gio.
need to
Just
do?
kidding.
No, I'm just kidding.
I can replace you with a corn dog if you want.
No,
Yeah.
Obviously a sensible person would choose Fury.
And then there's Gio, ladies and gentlemen.
And there's Gio.
So the only game Dallas won was against essentially a WISL Tacoma roster of players that they've signed and re-signed like 3 times this year. I don't know if you want to see something crazy, everyone, go to the MASL site, go to transactions and filter out Tacoma and just track the names. What is going on here?
I remember that week on their social media, it's like Tacoma welcomes, and there's like this laundry list of players on there.
It's like the before the season roster announcements.
Right.
So that's the only game Dallas won. It was the only game they were able to win. And they were close a couple other times, but they were completely blown out by a number of teams. Matt is begging you to not pick Dallas.
I know. That's why I'm laughing, because he's literally just saying, please don't. I swear to God.
Yeah, the Stars.
You just gave me a subtle lecture about not going with my heart instead of going with my head.
Look, I gotta ride the pony, man. I said it from the beginning of the season, and I gotta stick with it, man.
Dude, like game 4, the pony fell off the side of the cliff.
It's so hard to like even just say it.
Hey, you're a better man than I am.
I gotta stick with it, man. I gotta see it through.
See what through?
I gotta pick Dallas. What do you mean?
For what?
Because I said that's who I was gonna go with this season.
For
myself. It's my own. It's my own insanity.
A man has to do what a man's got to do.
I guess.
He's surrounded by his team. Let him do it.
Right.
Yes.
I'm kicking and
Just
screaming
within,
saying it, but I gotta say it.
Just within like 4 days of each other, like they dropped at least I see like they dropped like 5 players or 4 players, and then they signed them again.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, my computer is low.
Tacoma. Like it's just so random.
Hey,
So
grab
Gio's
my
just gonna
power
pick-
while you're out there, Gio.
Yeah, right.
What
Gio's
was
just he's gonna pick Dallas and just
Power?
walk away.
No, I gotta charge. I gotta put my computer on the charge, man.
Hey, when the kids these days talk about a mic drop, they're not talking about picking the 1 in 10 team and then walking away.
Come on, man.
All right, I think we've talked enough about that.
Agreed.
Let's go, Dallas.
Sensible people are picking Ontario, obviously. So I think we'll go. I think we'll go with that. And here's another matchup that's very similar to me than KC and St. Louis is Tacoma and San Diego.
Here's my middle 4, baby.
Gio has lost his marbles.
Adam Grosskreutz says, "I think even Dallas is rooting for the Fury."
The Dallas Twitter page, aren't they always like tweeting out during stuff?
Yeah.
I love their social media page. It's awesome.
They have some good stuff there. Well, they'll be tweeting a lot of Fury goals, I think, is what's going to happen.
A man has to stick with his word.
All right, well, you are what's known as wrong.
That day, I'm glad I have begun drinking again.
Just replace your picture of the Dallas logo, and that'll be the end of that. All right, so Tacoma, San Diego. How do we pick this one?
Easy.
I'm in the same boat.
Flip a coin.
Why
You
is it
do
easy
this.
for you, Gio? I'm fascinated by this.
You do this.
Oh, it's okay. That's why.
You close your eyes and just pick one.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I love the matchups. I love those middle 4 matchups. I see either one of these games going to overtime too.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I kind of lost in thought right now.
Tacoma has never beaten San Diego in the playoffs in a series.
I'm gonna pick San Diego. I'm picking San Diego because one, they're coming off this comeback that they had, and they're riding this energy, and also because not only did they have new goal scorers now,
I would have that too.
that they're also looking like they're finding some kind of shape, momentum, whatever you want to call it, and they're not coming into like a slouch. I mean, that's a big deal for them. They came from a 4-game losing streak to winning a game right before the playoffs. That's like the ultimate high. Even though, so this is gonna sound horrible. It's gonna sound real bad what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But with my youth team, when we're in a slump, I'll schedule a scrimmage with a team we know we could beat.
With the Dallas Sidekicks.
and it's not even to just to beat on them or whatever you want to say. It's to give them real game experience and finding new ways to do what they want to do with actual competition, right? And not just a training session.
So
that's kind of what San Diego did.
So
how
many times as Wave fans have we gone through a tough road and circled the Orlando game? This is where we get our legs back. This is where we get ourselves back going
That's
again.
where we were right when the season ended.
That's
we just
correct.
had those 2 Orlando games, and we were coming off kind of a rough patch.
Yeah.
And then we had a ton of hard games coming up. So, I mean,
Just like we were riding no pun intended, riding the wave there. I mean, we put up 15 goals against Rochester, had back-to-back Orlando games, and we were getting ourselves ready for our final home game against Baltimore, and then with the stretch with Harrisburg and Utica.
yeah.
And I felt like those Orlando games were needed. And Gio, I don't think it sounds bad at all. I think teams need to have gameplay experience, and sometimes they need to know what it's like to get out there and feel what it's like to win again, and then to and do it as a team and to hone their skills at some point.
Right, exactly. I mean, Utica did it all last season against Rochester.
Yeah.
Is it?
Florida did it
I got to
against
take advantage that Matt's not here.
Is it? Well, you've seen it. You've seen what he's typing in the chat, right?
No, it's
Oh yeah, you should read a couple of those. So, is that enough to go one game against Dallas when you've gone 3-6? Was it 3-6 prior to that?
I know you're here, Matt, but you're not on the camera. What were you saying, Adam?
Is that enough to have one game against Dallas to give them the momentum to go in? Because they're going against a tough team now.
I think so.
You know what? I'm telling you, I'm using my sleeping giant here, and I'm just going to jump ahead. I'm picking San Diego too because I really, ever since I started out as a fan of this league, and again, I'm very young in 5 years here, but San Diego's always been dominating the West. And yes, they didn't have the Turlocks to walk all over this year, but I just got a feeling that they take it to Tacoma this weekend, and then I think it's.
Then they're done.
I don't know if they're even done. I mean, I really think they have. That's why I call it the middle four. I think any one of them have a chance.
I don't think
So-
San Diego have a chance to be Ontario though.
So, like, for example, Florida did this, right? Florida had gone on a 2-game losing streak, back to back. And then they played Dallas, and then they went on a run. And it wasn't an easy game against Dallas. They ended up winning 6-5.
Yes, that was
After
crazy.
that, they beat St. Louis back to back. Then they beat Dallas 8-0, and then they played Comets the first game, won that game, and then they had that crazy loss.
to
Was
St.
it the
Louis.
second game? Yeah. No, sorry, they played Comets. They actually haven't lost since they beat Dallas.
They haven't played in a few weeks. That's
Right,
not
they
bad.
haven't played in a few weeks either.
So,
I'll go with the Sockers too. By the way, my head's telling me Sockers. Heart again's telling me Tacoma. So I love watching Tacoma play too. But
I've seen so many things from the Sockers this year that are bad, but in the past, I don't know how many times I've heard Craig Elston yell about the Sockers magic and watch them come from nowhere, where they kind of were against Dallas, and then just bam. They started, we've been saying it kind of all season. They started out slow, very, very slow, like the last 3 seasons now, including this one, where they're still kind of winning games in the middle. But last year they lost to Turlock right away. Then they won like 4-3, 5-4, 4. Those kind of games.
Games that they were trailing in. Games they were trailing in late, even.
I think, and Brad just said it. Vanzella being the X factor, Pardo is not a slouch. I mean, to have Vanzella as your backup, which I know that's really not what it is. I know they're both really starters. But on the other end, you have Waltman and Toth. I don't know how to pick it. I'm gonna go, and it's at a neutral site too, so you can't even give a home field advantage for either game. I'm going San Diego just because of what I've seen in the past, and as much as I would love to see Tacoma win. I just think San Diego has too much talent and too much experience in the playoffs to be able to lose.
I think also, some of these San Diego players are finding their footing, so to speak. And like said that he had an amazing game, a amazing second half, should I say,
Right. Yeah.
of that game against Dallas. Brandon has been on a crazy run this year for them. I think he's their top goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken. So I think players like that, and it's interesting that I know Brad mentioned Vanzella and you mentioned Pardo. Personally, like I love Vanzella. I know he's an X factor and all that, but I don't think I would play Vanzella the first game. I would play Pardo on the home or home.
Well, they're both at Ontario.
Right, I know, but one is technically them being home. One technically. So I think I would play part of the first game because the thing with Vanzella and that defense, it's they're getting it together, but it's not 100% there yet because Vanzella is used to a certain type of defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's not the San Diego defense.
he figured it out after 3 goals.
Yeah,
I mean, he really did.
Right, but the Tacoma Stars isn't Dallas.
Right.
So I wouldn't risk it. I think I would put Pardo in the first game, and then the second game, depending on how the first one goes, then I would have Vanzella in, especially because they're so close back to back.
Yeah.
I think what they play.
Well, they're each 2 days. Each series is 2 days, so it's Wednesday, Friday, or Friday, Sunday.
Right. Exactly.
I think
So 3 games.
Marcio, Gordy,
Games this weekend.
Slav, Childs kind of just woke up now, but there's so many players that haven't done anything yet. Gordy has no points,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
which I mean, he's caused a lot of issues for the opposing team's defense,
Yeah.
but he hasn't been able to produce. Slav hasn't been able to produce. He hasn't pulled out that crazy yellow line shot. It's just there's so much talent there that I can't overlook it. And I think
Slavica Ubi Perkovic back.
Yeah.
He got?
Slav.
Yeah,
I
he's
just
back.
love
Him
Slav.
and Charles are back.
Okay. I like saying his last name. We like saying his last name. Ubi
And then
Perkovic.
the other thing is, Dantes is finding himself.
Mhm.
It's finding his rhythm.
Yeah.
So as many good things as I can say about San Diego, I can say as many good things about Tacoma.
Right.
I mean, we watched that team. We watched essentially Tacoma beat the East All-Stars in Kansas City.
Yeah. You're right.
That's true.
I mean, there was one. The guys in front of us, a couple of rows down in front of us, were Tacoma fans, and he turns on and he goes, "Tacoma has 7 players on the field right now, because it was the entire West team and Dantas for the East." And then if Waltman, these goalkeepers in playoff form are going to be just amazing. I don't know if we can really determine what's going to happen there.
Waltman's overall a great goalie. I think he'll show up.
I think the worst decision would be from the coaching, like which goalkeeper do I put in of these 4?
Right.
Yeah,
I think Tacoma's going to have it easy because Waltman's pretty good at saying like, "Hey, it's not my night tonight."
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I think Tacoma's going to be the easy one. I think San Diego is where the decision is a little bit harder. But again, I've heard Craig say it time and time again. This is Pardo's team.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So I think the first game, Pardo. Second game, Vanzella.
Do they do a Monterey and switch them up at halftime just for no reason other than switching them up?
If they want to lose,
because you know how much that affected Monterey last season.
right?
Yeah,
It's a nice luxury to have.
yeah.
That's for sure.
It is. It is a nice luxury.
Yep.
So are we?
I
Matt's
think
from Tacoma. I know that. I think the 3 of us are Sockers. Gio, what are you? Sockers.
Yeah. I was the first one.
It hurts. It hurts to pick them, but
I love Nick and Danny and all them, but it's just I also love Brandon and all them.
maybe if I would have seen a picture or 2 of the Corn Dog Trophy, I'd have a different opinion.
Nah, not me.
But I think the Corn Dog Trophy is probably in a dumpster somewhere in a landfill. He probably looked at it like, "What the hell is this thing?" and just pitched it, and that's the end of that.
Nah, he probably has it. And he's like, I'm gonna keep this until I see Adam and give it back to him.
I'm trying to, yeah, you're right. Yeah, hit me in the back of the head with it.
Who'd you give it to? Did you give it to Nick?
So we sent it to the offices of Lane Smith, his corporate office, because at the time Nick was out with COVID protocol and he was in San Diego, so he had me send it to the Daytech corporate office. So it's either a trophy on somebody's desk and they have no idea what it means, but they think it's cool, or it's in the dumpster.
Some middle management person at Daytech has got a corn dog trophy sitting on their desk right now.
Right. It's the greatest thing ever.
Employee of the month. Here you go.
If Tacoma wins, Nick will give it back to him in Kansas City, Matt says.
That would be hilarious. Nick gives it back to him in Kansas City.
Awesome.
This thing has cost me nothing but trouble.
Yeah, right. You can take this cursed.
It's cursed.
So then the last game, right? Oh no, that's it. Never mind.
That's it. Yeah, there's only 6 teams.
Yeah.
Oh, but
For our half-hour segment,
Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I could have told you.
we talk and we get along way too well with one another.
I have
Right.
one last thing to say about St. Louis and Kansas City again. So I'm
She's
on.
changing her mind. I could tell.
No, I'm not. I was just.
wait,
gonna
hold on.
bring
Were
up-
these picks on who's going to go through?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, we got to do it all over. Hold
I
on.
thought you were picking who's going to lose. That's why you chose Dallas.
No, I thought we were picking who's going to win that game.
No, we're talking about just the whole series.
No, I'm just kidding. I knew it. I was just kidding.
All right, Lucy, go.
Okay, so I'm part of the St. Louis Ambush. What do they call it? Fan Nation or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of them. I think are traveling to Kansas City. Maybe not a lot, but a handful. And they're all like sitting in one section. And so I think like having a good fan base behind them in Kansas City. I don't know. Like I think that'll be really interesting. Like all together, obviously, I'm so excited for these games. But I just love when I think of the closest thing right now to like how I feel with like our Wave family and stuff like that. I think about how the Ambush is their fans are super like kind of out there.
You know, KC fans can also go to St. Louis for the next game.
I think they are. I know there's 2 very special guests that are making that trip.
Who's that?
2 voices.
Oh, are they gonna announce it? Ooh.
No, they're just going down there.
MASL, let Eric and Nick announce that game.
No, stop.
At
Stop
your
putting
arena.
ideas into the air.
These are good ideas, though.
They are, but they're
It
not
sounds
going to happen.
crazy, like-
You're just setting
Tension.
yourself up for heartbreaks. I'm the one to talk.
Sorry. Gio's heartbreak season.
It's
Nick
okay.
and Eric are the greatest. They are so good at what they do.
It's going to be great watching them announce all the games in the semis.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
They're
I
so.
agree. I think Philly and Panda, or Philly and I said Philly and Panda. It's like natural to say that.
Right.
But Philly and Jonathan did a great job.
Yes.
They turned it around so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first game was rough.
Right. We were making.
I think they're just so excited to like,
Yeah. Be back
Be
in your
back
home
in-
arena. Like,
and
that's
it was his
exciting.
first game too. It was just
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan wasn't excited that first game.
Jonathan was. Never mind. I
We
can't
had
say.
Jonathan in the chat, I think last week when we talked about it, and he was a good sport on it because I said,
Yeah.
you guys started out way down here and you just rose the whole way up. And
Yes.
yeah.
I would say they were probably the worst broadcast in the league
It's
the
better.
first week, and this probably the second. I can't put them better than Nick and Eric, but they were the
No.
second best by the time they were done with those 5
Yeah.
games.
They definitely Jonathan like at first just like
Robotic.
very very but then like towards the end of the weekend I was telling my dad I was like I really actually like how he's announcing like
Mhm.
I thought
To
it was like
a
really
transformation like that.
really
You know,
Right.
Philly was loud and obnoxious, and Jonathan talked just like a robot.
and kind of
Um,
just like the energies that they both were giving off
Yeah.
were not like mixing.
Then they melded and they met one another like midway, and they sounded fantastic by the end of the weekend. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable how quickly that team got together and made themselves sound really
And they
great.
do have a really great broadcasting team, I think.
I give
out
them
there.
pretty good kudos for doing that. They were
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Rion Marquez is in the chat. I think most of us picked KC, so don't let us down.
Yeah.
I picked St. Louis.
Awkward
Sorry.
silence. Awkward silence.
Oh God,
Okay.
Cliff.
Really
You just
making
made
fun-
us look terrible.
I tell it like it is, flat out. I looked Guillermo in the face the other day, and I told him he was at least my 4th favorite Wave player.
Like dead in the aisles, straight in his face, in his office.
He probably his eyes probably lit up. Was like fourth. I'll
Right
take
in his
it.
office.
No, but I think that game, that matchup, St. Louis and KC are probably the most exciting for me.
Absolutely.
Yes,
By far. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that.
So who does Florida pick then, based on our votes or our selections?
Well,
isn't Florida go up against whoever wins in
No,
San Diego?
they get to pick them.
they get to pick.
They
I
pick
say
the
they'll
team
pick
that they
San Diego.
play.
I said pick San Diego.
San Diego.
Yep.
Brian Marquez
Man.
says, "Really, Cliff? Haha, it's gonna be a good series."
I know you're going to listen.
If I was Florida, I will pick Fury
Why?
because they
Yeah,
haven't
why?
lost against them.
Well, you know what? I thought of this very same thing. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And I thought of that early on today, and I almost wondered, like, where would you rather have this team? In the championships, or would you rather get rid of them right away? And I love your thinking, Gio. I don't think they'll do it, but I honestly love where that comment came from. I really do.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of inside info here. Some of the Florida last season, some of the Florida players were saying, "We're going to pick you guys," meaning the Wave, in the playoffs, and then we beat them, and we won that series 2-1. And Drew's like, "No, we're not picking you guys anymore."
My favorite line that was said to me after that game was by the one and only Andre Hayne. I went up to me and Andre have a pretty good connection. Like I've known him for a while. Really awesome, great guy. So we went up to him and he's like, "Oh, we sent your buddy packing back on the bus," and it was in his Portuguese accent. It was great.
It's funny because he obviously sees Lucy's social media with all her Drew Ruggles posts and stuff.
Right.
And right away, we put your buddy back on the bus.
So funny. He's hilarious.
It was
Oh, that's
Great guy.
awesome.
Love that. That was so funny.
Yeah, but Gio, I really think they go with Sockers. But I had this whole to be the best, you got to beat the best thought today. And I just thought, man, here's your opportunity to take it to them. And then, maybe if they're healthy and if they're feeling 100%, because, you play a series in between there against San Diego. And now you've got guys that aren't healthy. And now you're going, I don't know. I love your thought. I don't think it's going to happen. I really like the fact that you.
So, like, the thing is, right, the other thing is, right, the way Florida carries themselves, the team, not the club, the team.
Right.
Yeah.
They're confident. They go at whoever it is there on the field, doesn't matter. And just the vibes that they gave me after they won, they're like, no one's going to touch us.
Yeah.
So they're just going to go at me. If I was the coach, I would just pick Fury and let's go. Let's go.
They hold a very Ian Bennett stance. That's how Ian holds himself. I feel like Ian's a very confident man. He knows what he's doing, and I think that's how they're thinking right now. They know what they're doing. They have a lot going for them right now. They know that, and I think
they're world beaters right now.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
If that happens, I give you mad props, Gio, for even bringing that up. That's it's great.
It depends on how. I think for me, it depends on how San Diego looks in the playoffs.
Yeah, good point.
yeah.
So if San Diego all of a sudden comes out and just annihilates Tacoma and doesn't even make it look like a competition, they may be like, "Whoa, what do we wake up here?" But then again, if Kansas City wins, do they pick Kansas City knowing there's going to be all home games because they're in Kansas City for the semis?
Yeah.
Interesting aspects that we normally don't think about in normal seasons, but we know that this is nothing but normal here.
All I'm saying is Florida knows Ontario's weakness, and I gave it a shout when I said teams that don't back down from Fury have the best chance, and Florida have done it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you're right.
at that point, I feel like Florida has a better chance against the Fury than they do against teams like
Kansas City.
Comets in Kansas City. Or sorry, Kansas City or St. Louis.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, Gio, if you get your way and Dallas beats Ontario, do you pick Dallas to beat Florida?
Come on, man. Why you got to put me in that spot?
Why don't we cross that bridge, huh?
Right,
Yeah,
let's cross that bridge when we get there, man. Come on.
Well,
No,
We'll have you guys on every
no.
week.
If let's say Dallas does beat Fury, Florida's gonna pick Dallas.
absolutely.
Oh, for certain.
They're going to
Because-
laugh all the way to the championship when that
And
happens.
then you know what's gonna happen? Dallas is going we've always said. We're gonna get Juliana in here. We're gonna create a whole wave team, and then boom, Dallas win championship,
That would be amazing.
and then wave remains championships for what, like the 5th year in a row now. It feels like,
All of a
Yeah, it's
sudden,
like-
yeah, right. In quarantine days, yeah.
right?
When we look at the transaction page and it's like Dallas, lone player.
We
That
got
would be
like
funny.
people just coming in from everywhere.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I was going to say we should let you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. We kept you on long.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Honestly, we could sit and talk this all night. Like I said, you guys bring so much to the sport, and having us on to talk, give us our picks,
Yes.
is really great.
No, we appreciate you guys coming on. It's awesome. We enjoy it.
Let's do it again next week. Do it again next week.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, it's the best pastime I can do with my kid right here. So that's
There you
awesome.
go.
We got
Awesome.
Friday night pizza and MASL. It's a big event. Adam, you'll appreciate this. Gio doesn't know what it's like, but I always stop and get a take and bake from the Quick Trip. Which, by the way, if you haven't had Quick Trip pizza, it's delicious.
I've never had one.
Get the
So,
tailgater pizza.
Get the
It's
tailgater. It's got
literally my favorite.
cheese curds and sausage on it. You won't
It's
go
the
wrong.
greatest
All
thing
right.
ever.
So when I find my way there, that's what Adam has to treat me to. Got it.
Yes.
But yeah,
Well, he should probably give
done.
you something better than a Quick Trip pizza.
No.
I'm just saying that they're delicious. We'll see you guys later.
All right.
See you
Have a good
guys.
night.
Thank you for
Thanks,
hopping
guys.
on.
Can you find out how to leave this thing? Oh, there we go. All right.
There we go.
So by the magic of internet technology,
By
I
the
think-
magic of internet technology,
I think that worked.
I'll let you know in just a moment when they hang up.
Yeah.
Yes, it worked.
Ta-da.
But
So
now
we
we
have
just
this.
have an empty space with. Oh, never mind. There it
No, I
is.
changed it. I added the corn dog back
There
in.
you
So,
go. I wonder if Matt can join now.
Hey Matt, if you're still out there, you want to try joining? He's been
But
quiet.
yeah, so do we want to talk about? Oh, can I give a quick update on La Liga Liga Mexicana de Fútbol Rápido, or LMFR?
Yes, you may.
So the Northern Division Chihuahua, or LPFR Chihuahua, had their semifinals for both the men and the women's. And the women's final will be after Savage beat La Raza. They went through. So the females for Savage went through. And then the other team, La Raza, which is one is in Chihuahua, one's in Juarez. It's very confusing. But La Raza Juarez beat Salas, and they will now play Chihuahuas in the final. For the men's, Savage beat their, I want to call them their sister club. They are related. They are like in the developmental team for Savage, but calling two men's team sister clubs sounds weird.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
So it's weird. But anyways, they played RSD and Savage went through. So both Savage teams will be in the finals. And then Soles de Ojinaga beat La Raza Juarez, and they will play Savage in the finals. So it's this weekend. No, sorry. Dates aren't out yet. I will get the dates. But this weekend, we'll have the semifinals for the other region, and I will be posting those games on they are posted on our Instagram and Twitter, but I'll reshare them so everyone can see them.
Post them on Facebook. I don't look at the other stuff.
Yeah, they've been some exciting games, except the Savage games. They've been the women's. They have some huge names. Like, they're signing professional players to play for them, and it's crazy. And when I see who their roster is, they have Savage has 3 women that play for the national team.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have the other team called Salas FC. They have one lady that, well, I don't know. Lady,
I don't know what.
whatever. She's 17 years old. She plays for the national U17, and she's a baller. So it's interesting to see how they can attract that level of talent down there.
Yeah. So does anyone beat Savage on the men's side?
On the men's side, they went the whole season undefeated.
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah, I saw that in one of the posts. So nobody beats them in the finals.
I don't know. I think they're the champions, man. I think so. There's been 2 teams that have given them close games. Typically, they win by 5 or more per game. Some games they win 10 or more. But there's 2 teams. One was Bombero Sports, and the other one was Soles de Ojinaga, which are the team that they're actually going to play. Those 2 have been the closest team to either almost beating Savage or just giving them a really good game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this final is going to look like. But I do think at the end of the day, Savage, both the men and the women, are going to take the title. So
cool.
It's going to be interesting. I will be sharing the link, so if you want to watch it, it's all in Spanish. Unfortunately, they don't have English. But they're definitely an interesting game, completely different as far as like pace, strategies, and everything. They take their top of the arc kicks super tactical. It's crazy some of the plays they put together, but it's fun to watch.
Do they take timeouts before they do?
They do.
They do. There you go, Eric.
Do. That's why I gave Eric that shout that he needs to watch those games, because they take time out and they put together some crazy complex plays, but they work.
Nice.
But yeah. So
something came up in the San Diego Dallas game, and anyone that watched it was probably as confused as the rest of us are when they started talking about video replay. And I'm getting on my soapbox here. So the whole season we've been talking about fan engagement and I hate to use the term Bush League, but stop making the team, the league look Bush League, things like that. And then they do this thing where the only people that they tell about what's going on are the announcers of the Dallas game that happens on Saturday for a rule that's supposed to be in effect starting this Wednesday. And we've heard kind of rumors that there were going to be kind of video review. They did this 2 or 3 seasons ago. Scotty Fellow's cell phone was featured in one replay system because they couldn't get the laptop working. So they brought Scotty's phone out and brought up the YouTube feed and watched the play and made the decision based off his phone. So Scotty's phone was the official MASL sponsored or official device for replays. From what I'm gathering, each team gets 1 challenge per game.
Yes.
And then it resets in overtime where they get 1 per overtime. Mm-hmm. Unknown if it means every overtime period or each overtime it resets. But they get to basically, it sounds like they get to challenge a foul that should have been a blue card or a blue card that shouldn't have been a blue card. Or, and I'm assuming a yellow or red or whatever too.
And goal reviews.
And then there was also talk about the referees now have a discretion on their own to go to replay whenever they think they can. Mm-hmm. But of course, the way this was handled was so poorly and nothing's been announced, nothing's been talked about. MASL didn't put out a press release, anything. I heard there was maybe a meeting today about it. Still haven't heard anything. So we don't know.
There was a meeting 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago about it, where they finally made the decision that they were going to do that at the time it was just the playoffs.
Right.
But they used the Dallas game for the test.
With no communication about what's going to happen or anything. So I fully expect like late tomorrow or even during the day on Wednesday is when they'll announce this. Hopefully, maybe they'll just Philly and Jonathan can announce it Wednesday night, I guess, or I don't know. It's just frustrating for this stuff to kind of happen.
So maybe it's just us. We're the bad boys. But there was a few media outlets that cover the league. So like Leader Sports, who covers does the Spanish announcements for the games. They were invited to the league. I know a few other people were invited to the league to talk about these rules so that they would be informed about what's going on. So,
yeah, but it's not like there's a website or a Twitter account that they could.
Of course not. But they could have easily just like, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do if you want to tell the fans.
Right. Or just, hey, let's spend 5 minutes to write up a little article on the website, have somebody else proofread it for 5 minutes, and just say this is what we're doing.
Exactly.
Make it a title, have someone spell check it. Florida, looking at you.
And not Florida. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. So that was frustrating for me to see that go on and just like, well, what are we even talking about?
On the positive side, though, I was excited to see how quick it was.
Yes.
It did not take a day.
Right. I mean, that's always the concern with replays is that it's going to take forever to do it. So Brad says, who in their right mind implements rule changes in the playoffs? I don't see this as much of a rule change. It is more of a administrative change. Because they did do exactly this a couple of years ago where they were reviewing.
Right.
So, and I don't remember it wasn't a challenge system though. It was more of a referee discretion.
Yeah, it was a referee discretion.
But I'm going to kind of pick on referees and defend them in this statement all at once. Referees are kind of grown their career to say my decision is final. Because in all rule books, like one of the last lines is the decisions of the referee is final.
Yeah.
So what referee is going to go, that's a goal, red card, blue card, whatever, and then go, you know what? I don't know. Let's go to video. Yes.
So I think that's what the third referee's job is. So it's to tell the ref, like, hey, I know you made this decision, but you might want to review it.
But then we deal with things like the whole ref who got suspended for posting a one-liner on Facebook if he says something that the referee doesn't like, especially one referee with a power trip who happens to be the head of all the referees.
Yeah.
It can be an intimidating, weird situation. I don't get it. I would love for there to be a third party to say, or like that, the fourth ref or third ref to say, yeah, you got to look at
this. There's a fourth ref, isn't it?
There's a third and fourth,
right,
and the scorekeepers and things. And I know they have a lot of other stuff going on. Like there's one ref that's basically watching the benches for too many men almost all the time. And there's no way that they can see something down the other end.
Right.
But I think just saying, oh, the referee's discretion, because then what's going to happen is the fans are going to expect everything that's a questionable from the broadcast replay view to be reviewed. Like the handball against Gamboa.
Right.
Which the announcers were saying that's really what turned the tide. No, it was just Dallas that turned the tide of that game.
Yeah, Dallas falling apart or whatever.
But they called a handball, and when they showed the replay, it looked like it might have just hit him in the face, and he had his arms up like this. And the ball went right between it, didn't hit his hands at all. In real time, you're never going to be able to tell that.
Yeah.
But maybe, and I shouldn't say that, in real time on the broadcast, you aren't going to be able to tell that. But maybe where the ref was on the field, he had a clear vision of it went off his face, it hit his hand and went down. He could see that change of direction. But we, in the angles that we see in the broadcast, don't know. And then what we get into is it was a goal. It was clearly across the line, and we get all these like weird UFO like quality pictures showing or not showing where the ball was across the line or not. I'm telling you, ask Juan to show the handball in Sonora, and he'll show you a picture where you can't even tell there's a ball in the field, much less where somebody's hand is or where the line is or where anything's going on. And that's there. This is my definitive proof that was a handball picture.
And then the other thing is, right, the handball rule itself. So what's a handball, what's not? Is it unnatural body position? Is it the ball's bouncing off my face and then going onto my hand? Do I have enough time to even react to that for it not to be a handball? So it's
for goalkeeper, I think it's different because they're out of their box. And if it touches their hands at all, it should be but the thing is, the rule should be if it's a handball outside of the box, it should be a shootout and a blue card. And that has not been consistent over the years at all.
Exactly.
A lot of refs just play the ball where it was hit and they don't do a penalty or anything, and they call that. So Brad's saying they haven't done it all season. It's ridiculous. Yes. I don't know how I feel about that. I think if it was a thing, well, they're going to say, let's say, we've been talking and throwing around the ideas of how do we make top of the arc restarts different or whatever like that. If they would do something like that in the playoffs, or like implement like the futsal goalkeeper rule or something like that, I think that's completely okay. I think this season, especially with everything else that's going on, like we didn't even know what the playoff format was until 2 weeks left in the season, and some teams are already done playing. I think it's okay to do something like this.
So the reason why there's two reasons. One, because half the season I spend my time bitching about, sorry, the language, complaining about certain calls, right? I'm like, oh, that wasn't this, blah, 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 blase. Well, this kind of may, if used properly, could take that away. And then the second thing is, I don't think this has a direct impact on how the game is played. So I don't see an issue with it. It's more so just kind of, hey, verifying like, hey, this was the right call. Let's move on. Or, hey, this wasn't the right call. Let's reverse it. So I don't really see this having a direct impact on the flow of the game, as where, hey, let's change the goalkeeper rule completely changes the game.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm not really upset with the fact that they implemented it. I am upset, however, like you said, that there was no communication.
Right. So we're hearing this from and then, no offense to the Dallas guys, but this is the guy that called offside one game. And now we're hearing him talk about, and some of the things he said were like absurd, even in the last game. And now we're hearing them talk about these new rules and new things that, they get reviews and the challenges and this and that. And it's like, well, you don't even sound like you know what you're talking about. How do we know you're giving us the correct information?
Right. I would love to see like a whole like plan on how, it'd be interesting to see if they updated the rules in the game. Anyways, that's something I'll do off screen.
Yeah.
It was funny that he actually admitted the fact that he said he had called offsides.
Did he? Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's like, and then he obviously mentioned that he's still learning and what's it called?
I figured it was just the fact that he was a hockey announcer, and the foul happened right on the line. So you see a foul in hockey and it happens right on the line, you're just going to assume it's offside because that's like 90% of the things that happen right. So that's what I assumed. It was just kind of funny when I saw it.
Yeah. I don't know. Besides that, I don't think anything else happened in that game that was like noteworthy except Dallas's implosion.
No, I think it was funny because they're like, oh, the coaches, they made mistakes. They used that challenge too early. It's like, well, they've never done it before. And now they're being thrown in a game saying, you guys should make sure you use the challenge to test our system. I'm sure that's what they were told.
Yeah, probably.
Like, okay, first thing that comes up, we're just going to use it and just get it, And then the announcer's like, oh, I think they made a mistake. They should have saved their challenge for later. It's like, well, what's the strategy? And Brad, I do agree with the NFL making a rule change a week before the playoffs and it being Bush League. I don't think it's the worst thing they've done. The MASL had a rule for like the first 4 games in one season where any blue card was a shootout.
I mean, I don't know if I would say that because like so when VAR came out, it was introduced and no matter what point of the year the league was in. So Champions League was entering their knockout phase. The World Cup just left the group stages into the qualifications into the group stages. So it's like that just happened to roll. That technology became available at that time. Approvals came out at that time. It was agreed on at that time, and it was just rolled out. So it's like I can't really. I mean, if leagues at that caliber are doing it, I don't see why we can't.
I think I disagree, Brad. But just based on the fact of what it is, like Gio said, it doesn't affect the flow of the game. If they were making like a different, handball doesn't count anymore, some weird rule like that definitely affects the flow, like the goalkeeper rule.
Right.
As much as people say, oh yeah, this is really important, we need to do this, it's going to completely change the sport. And it's going to take years for teams to get used to it because it's a completely different strategy. It's not just, everyone will attack more and it'll take the goalkeeper less out of it. It's going to change every position, every I call them blind plays where you just know where the guy's going to be and you just pass back to him and don't even look where he is.
Right.
All that's going to change, and it's going to change all of your strategy and everything.
And I'm not saying that I don't agree with the way Brad feels. I completely understand. I think more people would take this differently had this been communicated in a timely manner. Probably as soon as it was decided, they would have communicated. I guarantee more people would have been like, "Oh yeah, I'm on board."
Yeah, and to me, I think I don't want to make excuses for the pandemic and everything, but we're in this weird COVID year still.
Yeah,
the 18-month year or whatever the hell it is, and
this is true.
And I think it's okay to do stuff like that. I mean, what's worse to me is that teams went through 80 to 90% of their season without even knowing what they were playing for.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
And even if it was because I heard rumors that it was communicated well before that all the teams understood what the playoff format was going to be. Even if that's the case, I mean, it wasn't widely communicated.
Right. Right. So real quick before we anything, I'm really excited that it's still called the Ron Newman Cup. Right. At first, I was not, but now I am, because the reason I bring it up is just because I've seen a lot of, I guess, negative comments towards it. I wouldn't say negative, but just
if you saw Lewis's comment, you're going to lose 10 IQ points immediately after reading that.
Oh, I didn't see it. But
blah blah blah. Dallas is the only team in indoor soccer history that's gone 1-10 and made the playoffs, and shouldn't even be called the Ron Newman Cup. Should be called the COVID Cup, and blah 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 blah.
Forget that guy. Seriously, the reason I'm excited to see, I think it was Philly that said it. Was it Philly or was it? I don't remember who said it, but one of the announcers said it, that it's good that the tradition is still going, and I'm excited. I'm happy that the cup hasn't changed. It's not going to change, and to think back on it, there's been many of MASL leagues where it's been 7, 8 teams, 10 teams, 6 teams, and the trophy, obviously it wasn't always called the Ron Newman Cup, but they still kept the tournament going and it didn't change. So the fact that, like, hey, the game is still going on, the owners put forth an effort, the players are still playing, I feel like we can't just take it away like, hey, like this league this season technically isn't MASL. If we change the Ron Newman Cup, can we really say it's the MASL season, or is it just a season MASL is running? Because at the end of the day, it's not the Ron Newman Cup.
I think it's officially an MASL sanctioned event, unlike the Central Cup, which is not MASL sanctioned. I think I go back and forth on it. I think for purely the players who are going out every day and playing as hard as they absolutely can, it could be called the Ron Newman Cup. I think if you change the name of it, it doesn't really matter. The players know they're playing for a change. If you call it the MASL 2021 Championship. But I thought of a cool idea the other day of calling it the Chico Bora Memorial Championship or the Joseph Kyrell Memorial Championship trophy, and having it, because it's definitely a different season. You've gone from 17 teams, which has kind of been a staple, to 7. You've gone from 24 games, which has now been a 2 or 3 year thing, to 10, 11, 13, and 15, or whatever the numbers are in there. I think it's all numbers between 10 and 15. And then next year, the plan is to go back to 24 games and 17 teams minimum again.
Right.
I think because there is that change, just for acknowledging the fact this is a really strange year with strange challenging, you give it a name, but you don't call it the COVID Cup. That's Lewis being a moron.
Yeah.
It's people who think the league shouldn't play because they're bitter about their own teams not playing. But I do think you can set it aside and still call it a championship. There's going to have to be an asterisk after it anyway, because when you talk about stats historically, well, why did this guy win MVP with 20 goals this year when he had 50 the last year? Or, when the guy had 70 and then it went down to 20, like why? I think that you need to answer things like that. So might as well give it a different name. It doesn't mean anything less to the players.
But see, that's the thing. Like, the MASL has always been the Ron Newman Cup since it's become, even before it was the MASL. So to change it, I feel like if we're going to change it, we're going to change it for good.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
So it's like, if we're going to change it, because I get that there's teams that aren't going to play it. Trust me, I hate the fact that the Blast aren't playing. But at the end of the day, it's still the MASL season. It's not, like I said, a season ran by the MASL. It is the MASL. Teams aren't folded. Teams aren't not part of the MASL because they didn't play. They just couldn't. For whatever reason, financial, well-being, legal, doesn't matter. They didn't play because they couldn't. But the teams that did, why take away? Because, when you look back in the history, you're going to see MASL, Ron Newman Cup, Ron Newman Cup, Ron Newman Cup, Ron Newman Cup, whatever name, then Ron Newman Cup. It's not like the MASL that year decided, hey, we folded and it's another league. No, it's still the MASL. So why change it?
Yeah. My reason of giving it another name is just because it embrace the differences that this year has been. And Chico Bora was a huge name, and I don't know much about him other than what I researched after he died. Right. But I do know that he was a big name. Just, if Julie Weaver passed away, that would be a huge thing in not only San Diego, but all of indoor soccer. All of these names that we hear every, week after week. Right. When Eric, talks about 1987, there's my 1987 reference. By the way, if you have not seen which is the best version of Wang Chung, everybody, whatever the hell the name of the song is, look for that in the group. There's 5 different versions. Vote for your best, favorite, worst, least favorite, all of them. Anyway, but I think, if you're looking down the stat sheet, let's say you're looking at Wikipedia, and we joke about the whole asterisk thing, there's going to be some sort of designation of what happened this year, and everyone's going to know what it is.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because the number of games is going to go from 24 to 10 or 15, and the scoring is all change. So if you have a different cup name or trophy name or whatever, it's just another, Ron Newman, Chico Bora, parenthesis, memorial trophy to honor his legend during a tough season, something like that. And then you just go on. But when I think about it from the player's point of view, it doesn't matter to me as much anymore. When I look at like will the name of the trophy stop me from going to games? No. Right. Will Florida winning the Ron Newman Cup in 2021 on their crappy turf and crappy broadcast prevent me from watching another one of their games? Probably, well, maybe. No, probably not. Will it make me hate the sport? No. You had to talk me down pretty good early on in the season when I was ready to just walk away this season, because it was bordering on absurd. But we should be lucky we got a picture. By the way, speaking of picture, subscribe and like and do all the cool things in YouTube to our channel and to the video and all that stuff. Thank you. I'm really good at that. Can you tell?
You're amazing. My goodness. It's like and subscribe.
Isn't it? Isn't it just do the YouTube hokey pokey and turn yourself around? That's what it's all about.
And then ring the bell.
Ding.
No, but yeah, I think it's I get, it makes it stand out from what the norm is, but I mean, for what?
I think there's so many. We could probably sit here on the next 15 minutes and list out 50 different things that are more important than what we call a trophy.
Exactly. Let's just enjoy the playoffs, man. It's exciting time. I'm excited to watch the playoffs for the MASL. I'm excited to see who goes through. And if at the end of the day Florida wins it, I'm happy for them. Forget the ownership, but I'm happy for the team. I'm happy for everyone that put forth the effort to push forth Florida. And I'll be excited for all the players. I'll be excited for the fans, because there are some fans in Florida that, they have a supporter group, and they're always there supporting their team. Even they support their outdoor team and everything. So it's exciting for everyone that has a horse in the race and those that are just watching it and love the sport. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this weekend. And starting Wednesday. Correction.
Right. I still think the finals need to be played in KC. Don't give me this nonsense about arena availability. How many bad decisions have been made in MASL history, indoor soccer history, in the name of arena availability? Although when I was very, very, very much anti-blast, the fact that you guys couldn't play in your own arena because a circus was coming to town was like instant fodder, joke fodder. Like, don't make it so easy on me to tell me that the circus.
Let's not talk about the past. We don't talk about the past in this area.
Yeah. Adam, I agree. At the end of the day, you still need to keep the name. I was very, very much against it until I realized it wasn't about me. And the players are playing for, even though they didn't know what they were playing for in the playoffs, they still knew winning is important. Let's go out and win. Let's play as hard as we can, do what we need to do. That's why the conversations about running up the score and things like that. And, the guy pausing for a second before he kicks a ball in the goal or whatever, that gets fans all pissed off. The players are just not, it's not something that runs across players' minds. It's like, if goal differential is a tiebreaker, we're going to score as many goals as we can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for the players. Honestly, it's not even just for the players, even for the fans of the teams that are playing. It means so much for them. Like, I get, some of the strong teams aren't there, but those teams weren't always the strongest. There was a time where those teams didn't even exist, and there was other teams winning it. There was a time where the Blast wasn't winning anything. For Christ's sakes, we were in Houston before.
Yeah.
we weren't even in Baltimore. So it's like teams change. Who's in control of the league changes. I mean, if you look at professional outdoor, the EPL, for a long time, Manchester was running the show. Manchester United was running the show. And now, I mean, this year, with the exception, they weren't really any second thought to most teams. They were like, it's just another team. So, I mean, who's to say that wouldn't happen in the future? Let's say, I'm not even going to say the last name, but another team becomes a mediocre team, right? It's just like this year.
Season? What?
Come on, man. Come on. So I'm saying it's just, teams are out there doing their thing and they're playing and they're trying to win the Ron Newman Cup. And I support it and I'm on board, full on board.
All right, you talked me into it.
There we go. Hey.
I'm like leaning on half of the board. But to me, it's one of those things that it's more inconsequential than there's so many other more important things to talk about.
Hey, I'll take it.
And that's where I'll leave that topic at. What else did I read about? That's about all I wrote about. There was only one game over the weekend. That was boring. I thought I was going to have so much time to do all sorts of other stuff.
For you, it was one game. I had 5 games this weekend.
I watched part of the Waza Flow versus.
Oh, I didn't even count those.
Versus who was that against?
Great
Lakes Wanderers.
Grand Rapids Wanderers.
What did I just say?
Great Lakes Wanderers. Their old name. It was
the Great Lake Invitational.
Yes.
Grand Rapids Wanderers.
Yeah, and then they used to be known as the Great Lake Wanderers. Remember?
That's what I was talking about. I just got the name wrong.
Yeah.
I watched the first quarter of that, and then realized that it was almost 1 a.m. I needed to wake up the next day. So
what did you think about that broadcast, by the way?
It was okay.
Right?
The turf is weird. It wasn't as bad as whose turf? It was Chihuahua's turf last year that Solus played on. Where when I first turned it on, I thought there was a problem with the broadcast that turned everything black and white. But then one of the players ran past with like a red uniform. I'm like, wait a minute, what is? Because the turf made it look. It gave it that like cool like music video vibe where the whole thing was in black and white, and then like the lead singer's in like a red shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
The great turf. So Brad, the great turf in where was that? That was
Muskegon.
that. It was in Muskegon. That turf needs help, man. It was beat up,
man.
But did you see how bad a quality it's in?
Oh, okay. Correction. I like the color.
I
won't say I like the actual turf.
That one didn't mess with me as much because it wasn't just it had the lines on it and stuff. But the Chihuahua turf really messed with my brain. Like trying to watch, I still watched the whole game and enjoyed it, but it was like my brain was like, it's in black and white. No, it's in color. No, it's in black and white. No, it's in color. It's just, it was cool to see the Cicluna brothers on the field again.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them play since they were in the league in the MSL last.
Yeah. It's crazy because, so fun fact about some insider information on that game started 20 minutes late.
Oh.
Because their Waza Flow is infinite. How did they label them? Infamously late or infamously known for being late? Whatever. They're known for being late. So they started 20 minutes late. So they had to end the game in a tie. This is a friendly match, by the way. It doesn't count towards the league.
I was wondering, I saw the score and I mean, in the end, they scored, each team scored a goal in the first 2 minutes and then it went scoreless for the rest of the quarter, but it ended in a 4-4 tie. So
right.
That's
So they had to cut the game, end the game. They couldn't do overtime because they were late. So they had to end the game because they had to get enough time for Muskegon and Fort Wayne to come on. Because so with the Great Lakes Invitational for the M3 is not part of the season. It's just 100% friendlies just to get them ready for the coming season because M3 ended. But the M2 games do count towards the league. So they're taking precedent. So the game had to end for Muskegon and their game to start. But, hey, can we talk about Cleveland? What a return. They won both their games. Their first game they won
14 goals and 9 goals. I don't even know what the other score is because it doesn't really matter at that point.
So the 9 goal was to 0. It was a shutout.
Are you sure? I thought it was 9-2.
No, that wasn't the second. The second, I'll tell you right now.
Then there were 3. Were there 3 games?
There was 2 games.
Was there 1 game like a couple weeks ago then?
Oh no, that was their that was a friendly.
Okay, so that one is the one they won 14 to something.
No, this. So you're right. They won 9-2 the second game, but the first game was 17 to. Hold on, 17 to. I can't remember. 17 to 6. Can you? That's a beating they put on.
Wait, let's just
Colorado.
17, 14, 9, 40?
In 3 games.
Oh. Is that 40? That's 40.
What was it? 17, 14.
And 9. That's 40.
That's 40.
So in 10 games, San Diego scored 41.
Oh my God.
Now, granted, obviously a complete different level of
course.
of competition, but still, I was looking
the
at
way
that.
they play, the way Cleveland plays. I mean, they have some talent, and the way they use the board and stuff. They're a good team, man.
Nice. I'm so. Are they still coming to M1?
As of now, not this year. They would not be coming to M1. This year is going to be completely M2.
I'm good with that. I like your idea of a team needs to do a 1 season at M2 first. And technically, if you look at it, technically that's what Rochester did. They were in M2 and then they moved up to M1.
Right. Before they went to M2, they were M1, right? And they had left the league.
Yeah, they weren't even in MASL. They left before the merger. So they left 2014, 2015, somewhere in there, in one of the last MISL years.
Oh, okay. Right. So then they came back to M2, which is great because another thing, Savage, when they return, looks like they're gonna have a second team in the M2, but that's TBD. TBD.
There you got it. All right. I think we can probably wrap up. I think we're stretching.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about here.
I could talk forever, but
I don't see any more likes on the video. So, and I know there's 8 people watching and there's 2 likes. So you guys are slacking.
Okay.
I don't know what likes really do. I guess if you get a lot, then YouTube puts your videos in search things, but I don't know what they do for live streams. So I don't know.
It just makes us feel good. Can you just make us feel good?
Makes us feel good. And if you subscribe, that would be even more awesome. I think everyone who's watching is probably subscribed.
True.
So we have a little competition going. My personal YouTube channel on music that I started in November has more subscribers than the In the Box channel that we.
Yeah, come on,
we really
guys.
only started this a couple of weeks ago.
Come on, guys. Let's get it together. No, seriously, thank you guys for watching.
We need an outro. We need an outro. I have like a weird outro picture. We need an outro video.
We'll make an outro video.
It'll just play for a minute or 2 before we end the stream.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the games starting Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And we will be back on Monday to discuss the whole thing with Cliff and Lucie and with Brian Farber. And for those of you who are looking forward to Brian Farber, sorry, it was our fault. We blame it on Matt, which is, I'm good with that. He's not here to defend himself. So
Exactly.
So
He'll
the
get
guy-
on us later.
yeah, exactly. All right. Everyone have a good night. We'll see you.
Have a good night.
All right. It's over.